I made this bag using my daisy chain technique, so come along with me while I show you exactly how I made it. I've tried the flower out in 2 different yarns. This one is a Aran weight cotton yarn, and then this one I have doubled up 2 strands of a DK weight cotton acrylic mix. This one is a little bit sort of shinier, which is making me think I do prefer that one. I mean, they're very similar. I don't even know if you can tell on camera a difference between them. So I think either would work for this design. So it would be up to you. You could double up 2 strands of DK yarn, or you could use 1 strand of Aran. This is the yarn that I'm going to be using. It's a cotton acrylic mix by Paintbox, and it is a DK weight, but I am going to double it up, and then I'm going to be using a 5mm crochet hook. One flower should measure about 8 centimeters across the center, but it doesn't really matter too much with this design how big they are. It's just if your flowers are a little bit smaller, your bag's going to be a bit smaller. If your flowers are a bit bigger, your bag's going to be a bit bigger. I'm going to show you how I make the flower and then how I attach them. I do have another video where I explain this in a little bit more detail, so I will link that somewhere on the screen for you now. To make the flower, I'm going to start by chaining 4, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that beginning chain to join and make a loop. You're then going to chain 1, and then you're going to do 12 double crochets into the loop, and I am working in UK terms, so if you're working in US terms that will be 12 single crochet. Now that we have 12 double crochets into our loop, you're going to slip stitch into that beginning double crochet to join. That is the end of round 1, so now working on the petals. To do that, chain 3, then do 3 double treble crochets into the next stitch. In US terms that would be 3 treble crochets. Once you've done that, you're going to chain 3 and slip stitch into the next stitch. That's our first petal done, so then you will repeat those steps to create the next 5 petals, and you'll have 6 in total. So you'll chain 3, 3 double treble into the next stitch, chain 3, slip stitch into the next stitch, and repeat that. So once you're at this point and you're finishing off your sixth petal, you're going to chain 3, and you're going to slip stitch into the same stitch where our first chain 3 started. You're then going to pull through and fasten off. And that is your first flower done. So once you've created your first flower, you want to follow the same steps to create another flower. Now I'm at the point where I want to attach this flower to my blue one. So I want this petal that I'm about to make to attach to this petal on my original flower. So what I'm going to do is chain 3, and then I'm going to do 1 double treble into the next stitch. I'm then going to pull out the yarn and take out my hook. I'm going to get my first flower, and I'm going to insert my hook into the middle double treble of the petal. So that's here, and I'm going to insert that through the top of the stitch. I'm then going to get the other flower. I'm going to reinsert my hook, and I'm going to pull through like that. I'm then going to finish the flower like I normally would, and there you can see that the flowers are then attached. So I've started by making a row attaching the flowers as I go, and I am now on my last flower because I want it 3 by 3. So I am now going to attach this last petal to the other side of the flowers to make it into a loop. So you can see now I've made that into a loop. So now I'm starting to do another row, and when you're doing this, you're going to be attaching on 1, 2, 3 petals. So I've done 3 petals of my next flower. With the next petal, I'm going to attach to this one, my next one to there, and my next one to there. So you're stacking them like bricks. So we're now starting to get a little bit of a tube. So these are all attached together, and I'm going to do the last row. But once I've done one half of the last row, I'm then going to have to attach the bottom petals as well. So I'm going to do one side, and then I'll show you how I'm going to attach the bottom petals to the other side. I've done one side of the bottom row, as you can see there, and then with these last flowers it's going to be a little bit fiddly because we've got to attach it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. So I've done 1 petal of my next flower, and then I'm going to attach petal 2 to this flower, petal 3, so petal 3 is going to be attached to this petal, petal 4 is going to be this one, so that's the opposite side as where this is going to sit. So just going to flip it around a little bit. I'm going to attach that one. And then petal 5 of this flower is going to attach to this one. So I'm going to insert my hook into that petal. And then petal 6 is going to be this one. So if you want to fold it over, you can see that we've started to create a bit of a corner here. So we're going to insert into this one, and just always make sure that your work is facing front. So the right side is facing front always when you're inserting your hook. And there you can see we've created the corner and it's going to be sealed at the bottom. So you want to repeat that with the next flower, and then with the last one all 6 petals will be attached. That one will be quite fiddly, but that one wasn't actually too bad. So now created the bag and it is all sealed. It is going to need a lining because it's a bit gappy, but I'm going to add another flower here on either side, joining on these 2 petals. So the flower that we're going to put here to start the strap is actually going to be a 5-petal flower, so that we've got this petal at the top to attach to, and that will make it lie flat and look a lot neater. So to do a 5-petal flower, it's very similar to the 6-petal flower. So we're going to start by chaining 4, and we're going to slip stitch into that beginning chain to make a loop. So there's our little loop, and then I'm going to chain 1, and instead of doing 12 double crochets into the hoop, I'm going to do 10. So 10 double crochets into the hoop. And then I'm going to slip stitch into my beginning double crochet. And then it's basically just the same as we were doing before. So you're going to chain 3, and then we're going to do a double treble crochet into the next stitch. So you just do the petals exactly like you did for the 6-petal flowers. So 3 double treble crochet into the next stitch, and then chain 3 and slip stitch into the next stitch, and you'll just repeat that 4 more times until you're back where you started. I'm at the point where I've done 3 petals of my 5-petal flower, so I'm just going to start my 4th petal, and I'm going to do chain 3 and then 1 double treble crochet into the next stitch, and then we are going to be joining to this flower and this flower. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to be attaching to this petal and this petal. So I'm going to take my hook out of the flower and insert into the middle stitch of that one, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and then finish off the petal. I'm then going to start my 5th petal, and I'm going to attach it to this petal. It's hard to see with this one. So insert my hook into there, put your yarn back on, pull through, and then I'm going to finish that petal. So we started the strap, and now we've got a good base where we can attach onto this the top petal. Going back to my 6-petal flower, and I'm just about to finish my last stitch. So I'm just going to show you that we want it in this top petal of the 5-petal flower. So I'm going to insert my hook into that middle stitch and pull through, and then I'm going to finish. So you can see the strap forming now. Not sure if I want one, maybe two more. I ended up doing 5 flowers in total for the strap, and these 2 are the 5 petal flowers, and then these 3 are 6 petal flowers, and we used the 6 petal flower throughout the base of the bag. I am going to add a lining because it's a little bit gappy. I don't want anything falling out, so to do that I am just going to measure how big, and that way it's about 21 centimeters by 18. Found this fabric in my stash, and I am going to cut 2 pieces out that are 21 times 18 with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, and then I'm going to use this gingham to do the inner lining. So I'm going to double it up so it's got a bit of structure to it. So this will be, you'll see that through, but then on the inside I'm going to have the gingham. I'm just going to double check that I have done that right. Yep, 21 by 18. Did that line wrong there, but that's the one I'm going off. So that's how big my bag is, and then there's my 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way around, and I'm now going to do the same with the gingham. First thing I'm going to do is sew these 2 pieces together, wrong sides together, and I'm going to leave the top edge open. So I'm just going to go down 3 sides, and I'm going to do the same with the gingham. I've now sewn my pieces together, and I'm just going to cut the corners off just so it sits a little bit nicer, and then I'm going to turn them the right way around and give them a little iron. I've turned this one the right way around so the seam is inside. This one will go into this one. I'm going to fold over that 1 seam allowance, 1 centimeter seam allowance edge, and I'm going to iron that down, and with this one I'm going to do it the other way. So I'm going to fold that one out and this one in, and I'm going to iron them down. I've now ironed those edges down, and I'm going to put this piece into this bag. And then I'm just going to reposition my pins. I'm definitely not an expert at this, but I'm hoping it's going to turn out okay. I have inserted the gingham lining into this one, and then now I am just going to sew along that top edge to seal that in. Before I do though, I have got some little fastenings that I might just add, like a little button fastening on there before I do that. I have sewn the bits together and also added a little magnetic fastening. It's definitely not perfect, but pretty happy with it. I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to add that into the crochet bag. I've just slotted that in and it fits pretty nicely. I think I'm just going to hand sew, just put a little tack there, just to keep it secure. I'm so happy with this. I think it's super cute. The lining with my little popper, and I ended up using just over 1 ball. I used about 110 grams of the red yarn, so a little bit annoying because I did have to order another ball to finish it off, and then hardly used any of it, but still I'm very happy with the finished piece. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.